You also take on Baylor, Utah, and then Texas A&M later in the year. And then obviously there is a bunch of different good teams in your own conference. You know, your conference is very well respected for not being a Power 5 conference. Is that something you look for every year, Coach? At least playing Texas or Texas A&M once, or even any of the schools you got right there in that area?
Yeah, we try to. I wish we could play them all. Sometimes the schedules don't match up where we might not have the same Tuesday open or something like that once you start to fill a few. But, yeah, I look forward to playing all those Power 5s and the Big 12 schools. I guess some of them are now going SEC. But, yeah, we enjoy it. That's how you get better. That's how you figure out, as from a coach, kind of where you're at and where some holes might be. And so, yeah, we look forward to those games.
Yeah, and speaking of SEC, I mean, that goes right into my next question, Coach. I've talked to coaches all over the country, and your team is one of the teams I would bring up a lot. It was you. It was Rutgers. It was even Ball State and a couple other teams. My opinion, as somebody who's followed college baseball for years and has written about college baseball, it's very hard to win 40 games a year. I don't care what conference. Matter of fact, 37, 38 games. But what I've asked people is, is it time for them to expand the tournament? Some coaches think they are in a couple of years. But here's the scary part, Coach. People are wondering, okay, so let's say they do expand the tournament. And I've got a bunch of different opinions on this from all the different coaches. Is it going to be the 9th and 10th SEC or ACC team? Or is it going to actually be UTSA, who a lot of people saw beat Southern Miss at Southern Miss, which ended up being a host team last year? Is it going to be Ball State? Is Rutgers, which is a Big Ten team, which a lot of people think should get in? What's going to happen with that? So how do you think they go about that, if you have an opinion on it at all? Or?
Well, I don't know is the simplest answer. I truly don't know. I think expanding the tournament would be great just because it allows a team like a UTSA or, quote, mid-major. It just gives us more opportunity to possibly get in. I think, again, I don't know exactly why we didn't get in last year.
Right.
And we don't control that ultimately. People think you control winning and losing, and sometimes you don't even control that. Truth be told, all you can control is the next pitch or the next decision to swing. In other words, it's not even the swing. I could talk about that all day.
Right.
Kind of things we talk about with the team, but we try to control what we can control. We try to play good baseball, which simply means don't walk people, throw strikes, be tough, gritty hitters, and make plays, one error less per game. And at the end of the day, I couldn't be more proud of the team last year. We didn't get in the tournament, but I felt like that wasn't our decision. We did what we needed to do to get in. Won 3 out of 5 against Southern Mississippi. Every one of them at their ballpark. Beat Stanford and TCU and all these other teams. So I truly don't know the answer to your question, but I do think an expanded tournament would help the mid-majors. So I'm all for it.
Right, and everybody had you guys in last year. D1 baseball, Baseball America, whatever, and I just think this, and this is my personal opinion, I just want to say that if college football playoff is expanding to 12 teams, if Division I basketball, where you've seen mid-majors have great success in their tournament, if they have made the first 4 in, I think it's going on 10 years, I think it should be a good idea that the committee thinks about or talks about or looks forward to. And I'm not trying to disrespect the committee. I know they have a hard job, but just taking some of those examples, you just don't know. You got Stony Brook that's got in a couple years ago. Heck, Coastal Carolina won the College World Series less than a decade ago. So just hopefully, the committee can look into that in the future.
Yeah, I agree.
So next, Coach, I don't know if you can reveal it before I go into my third question. I know there was a talk about you guys expanding the stadium or getting a new stadium. I don't know if you can talk on that. But when I talk to people nationally, I say I've been to UTSA. I've been to that town in San Antonio. They have a big like alumni base that even when the football team hosts a game at the Alamo Dome, everybody comes out. Even if you guys were to host any sort of regional, I know they had the big league preseason games there hosted by HEB in the Alamo Dome. I told people around the country, you'd be surprised the amount of people that would come out to support UTSA. So I hope the national media and some of the people on committee don't overlook that. And I've seen a bunch of those ballparks there in San Antonio, even the high school and the minor league fields. You guys have a lot of options there, regardless. So,
yeah. At the end of the day, at some point, I hope we can do something here on campus. But yeah, there are options in place. Again, I try to wrap my head around what I can sway, what I can control, so to speak, and honestly, it's very little when it comes to that.
Right.
So we're trying to put together some good seasons like we did last year, and our administration over here did spend a little money in the off season to make a couple upgrades here at the ballpark.
Awesome.
In the long run, it needs to be more, to be frank, and they know that. But there's a lot of needs over here within the department. But we're grateful. We got an expanded turf halo. So in other words, the foul grounds are now turf, and it's a natural grass playing surface still, which is ideal to me because Omaha's natural grass. But that expanded halo down the lines, like you'll see at a lot of the SEC parks, I think LSU and
okay.
Some of those have it. So, and then we redid some of the amenities around, redid the fencing and make it a little more fan friendly. But there's a lot of work to be done, and for me, that means put a good product on the field and help our players, put our players in a position to succeed, and then maybe we can get some more work done on our ballpark if we keep winning. That's the way I look at it.
Absolutely, and I just want to tell everybody that is a beautiful ballpark. It's right there along those intramural fields, plenty of parking there. If anybody wants to see a good college baseball game, it's a nice atmosphere.
It is.
Yeah, it's very cool. And finally, Coach, because I know you're a busy man, and I try not to keep coaches longer than 5 to 10 minutes. I know you guys are ready for next Friday, and it's a very exciting time of year. Super Bowl this weekend, and then college baseball next Friday. So it's a fun time.
Yep.
Now, replay, Coach. And last year, Michigan Louisville game, I don't know if you saw it. It was a controversial call. I don't want to get into it. Once again, respect the umpires. They have a hard job. I just want everybody to look at it open-minded. Doesn't need to be a command center, Coach, when it comes to, obviously, I don't know if we'd be able to do that for all the regular season games or the conference. I mean, you have it in your conference, so you're not worried about that as far as conference tournament. But definitely for regionals and super regionals, do we need to have a command center where the NCAA can call back the umpires and say, hey, let's maybe get that 100% right. This could be this kid's last chance playing college baseball, or this coach's job could be on the line, or let's just get it right for the sake of getting it right because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think they're trying to do that with the instant replay. There's probably certainly room for discussion in what the replay could look like with as you called it, a command center or a central location where maybe they can look at it, I guess, like the MLB does.
Right.
It just I don't know what the price tag there is. I'm sure that's a hiccup. It's above my pay grade, and again, it's out of my control, so I don't spend a ton of time on it.
Right.
But anytime, and that's what that's the first thing any umpire, and those guys have a very, very hard job, but it's the first thing any of them will tell you is they just want to ultimately get the call right.
Right.
So I think they would be okay with it. At the end of the day, dollars matter. It's got to be feasible economically.
Right.
Which means maybe just a postseason, regional and super regionals and World Series when you're starting to get some ESPN coverage. It might be something to look at. I think it might not be cost feasible prior to that, though. Right,
and I think I'm in 100% agreement with you because a good team's a good team. You're going to find a way to win, 35 plus games, and regional, super regionals, like you said, College World Series, get that right because that's really important, and those teams worked hard to get there. Yeah, I think that's a great answer, Coach, and I think everybody agrees with that. That's it, Coach. I don't want to hold you. I appreciate you reaching back out to me. I know it's a busy time.